It is officially September. We all know what that means. It's the start of fall. Hello bookish besties and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be going over my entire fall TBR. I am already celebrating fall. As soon as September hits, my house is decorated for Halloween. I start wearing things like this Sanderson Sisters t-shirt, and I've already been drinking pumpkin spice since halfway through August. So as you can tell, I'm a huge fall lover. Fall is my favorite season, so I like to go all out. So since it's my favorite season and I'm a seasonal mood reader, I wanted to go over every single book that I plan on reading in September and October. I just love that everything that fall has to offer. First of all, I absolutely adore the color scheme. I love anything yellow, orange. I love black and purple. The colors are just so gorgeous to me, and fall is just so aesthetically pleasing. I absolutely adore every single movie that I get to watch during the fall and Halloween season. My favorite movie of all time is The Nightmare Before Christmas, and my second favorite movie of all time is Halloween Town. So you can see that I love like the quirky aesthetic vibes of fall. I'm going to be decorating my house actually today, and I'm getting so excited because I have pumpkins, Halloween books, I have jack-o'-lanterns, I have lights, I have candles, I have witch hats. I basically love anything to do with pumpkins and witches. Witches are especially my favorite. That is kind of an all year round thing for me because I do love like the dark cottagecore aesthetic. So basically in today's video, I'm going to be going over every single book that I want to read, like I said, in the months of September and October, and I'm going to be going through them by category. So some that I have are kind of like more lit fic, romance, rom-com-y, and then I will be going into the more like horror, thriller, murder mysteries. I don't have too many of those, and then we're going to be going into the fantasy books that I want to read that I feel like give me fall vibes. So I'm very excited. This is definitely overly ambitious because it's probably over 20 books, and y'all know that I've been reading like 1 to 2 books a month because I am in the words reading slump, but I'm hoping that fall will kick me out of that and I can snuggle up and read some cozy books and have a great old time. Right now, my current read is The Fall of Bradley Reed on Kindle Unlimited, and I've really been enjoying that one. It's part of the 'Tis the Season for Revenge overarching interconnecting series, and I've really been enjoying that one. It's about a girl that is left at the altar, and she plots revenge on the men that left her, and she winds up falling in love with the FBI agent that's like watching her through her phone. So it's a really fun concept, and I'm having a great time. So first we're going to be going through the more romance, rom-com, lit fic books that I want to read. First one is The Love of My Afterlife. So I know this is like an older book, and this is just like the new cover I decided to do, but I absolutely love it, and I'm so excited to read this one. I finally picked it up at Target after hearing about it for a little while, and it's basically this woman dies. She meets someone in like the death's waiting room, but they made a mistake and he has to go back to Earth because he wasn't actually supposed to die. So she is offered a deal and she can go back to Earth, and if she finds him within a certain time frame, then they get to like fall in love and start their life over again, and then she doesn't have to die. So I think that's gonna be so much fun. It's giving like Beetlejuice waiting in the afterlife vibes in that waiting room, and I think it's gonna be like a really cute, funny rom-com, but then it also has to do with like supernatural, so it fits the fall vibe as well. And I'm obviously doing a reread. I reread this book every single year. This is going to be my 3rd year rereading this. So I first read it in 2022. It is one of my favorite rom-com fall reads of all time. I have only read it on an audiobook, so I'm excited to finally physically read it and be able to annotate. But this is basically if you mixed Gilmore Girls with Halloween Town, and those are 2 of my favorite things of all time. So that is the X-Hex. So Vivi is dating this guy, and she and her family are witches, and he's also a witch, but he breaks her heart. She finds out he's already engaged, and so she accidentally curses him, and then he comes back 9 years later, and funky things start to happen with the town because his family like owns the town and he has to recharge the ley lines, and so his cursed magic goes all throughout the town, so they have to run around and fix all these things happening and figure out how to break the curse. I'm so excited to finally physically read this. I'm gonna have such a fun time underlining everything. Then one that just fits the fall vibes because I think it is so whimsical and it has such an adorable magical premise to it is The Ornithologist's Field Guide to Love. First of all, I think this color just fits the fall vibes so well. It's like a really nice deep purple color, kind of almost maroon. And so this is about two ornithologists that are trying to both hunt down like this magical bird. So it's like academic rivals, it's historical fantasy, rom-com. They say it's like Indiana Jones, but with manners tea and helicopter parasols. So they're basically hunting down this magical bird and they're competing against each other. So I'm very excited. I think it's gonna be like kind of like Fantastic Beasts and meets like more historical fiction academic rivals. Then I've talked about this book before as well. It is The Spell Shop. This just gives me such cozy fantasy vibe, definitely magical realism. So it is about a woman that works at this like really grand library and things start burning down, and so she takes some of the books and leaves with her sentient best friend Spider Plant, and they run back to her old island that she used to live on, and she kind of starts to fall in love and she finds like a market and a business for herself, and there's a bunch of creatures in this. So I'm very excited for the whimsical cottagecore vibes this one's going to give. I feel like fall just reminds me of cottagecore, like definitely like fall and spring, but more so fall because I like the kind of like darker cottagecore vibes. So that's why I'm picking some of these cozy fantasies, because they just give me cottagecore vibes and I want to live out my dreams. The next book is A Curious Beginning, which is a Veronica Speedwell mystery. This one I don't know too much about. Again, this one's giving like whimsical historical fiction vibes, and I feel like I always pick more nature-esque books when it's fall and spring. So this one, she studies butterflies, I believe. Yes, it is. She studies butterflies, so I love that like naturalistic component of this book. So it says that she travels the world in pursuit of scientific inquiry, she hunts butterflies, and she intends to embark on a journey of a lifetime, and she tries to get abducted, but she fends that off with her friend Stoker, who is a natural historian. And it says, but before the Baron can reveal what he knows of the plot against her, he is found murdered, leaving Veronica and Stoker on the run from an elusive assailant as wary partners in search of the villainous truth. So it's kind of like a murder mystery historical London 1887 book, and I'm very excited. The cover is just so beautiful. I love all the butterflies. It's so pretty. Then the final book in this category is Wayward. And this is just all about natural witches. I'm so excited because this cover, first of all, just gives the perfect cottagecore natural vibes, and it definitely matches fall to a T, and I love it so much. And then especially when you bring in like natural witches and that witchy vibe, that definitely reminds me of fall. So it follows the 3 different timelines of witches. So it follows 2019, 1619, and 1942. So you go through one person going through World War II, and she's being straitjacketed and they think she's gone mad. In 1619, she is awaiting the trial of a local farmer that was murdered when he was stampeded to death, but they think it's her because obviously they're accusing her of being a witch. And then 2019, she inherits the Wayward Cottage from her aunt, and she's fleeing an abusive partner. And then she's also discovering the secrets that lurk in this cottage that are hidden by the 2 other timelines, and basically kind of like uncovering the secrets of like the witch hunts and stuff. So I think this is going to be so interesting. I'm actually really excited to read this one. I think I actually might read this one very soon. Now we're going to be moving on to the more like horror thriller genre. One that I started recently and that I'm kind of in the middle of, but I kind of got put off because I heard there's a supernatural twist in this one, but I'm still really enjoying it. I read the first 80 pages of this book and I am enjoying it, but again, I was getting the vibes of like a weird paranormal twist that was occurring, and I really don't like when there's a paranormal twist in something that I don't see it coming, and when they use the paranormal twist to kind of explain away almost like a plot hole in my opinion. And that is I Was a Teenage Slasher. I was just completely expecting this to be from the perspective of this guy who literally became a teenage slasher, and it's just supposed to be from his perspective, but then, you know, he's talking and he's like, oh, I was a slasher, and then it goes into this scene and something paranormal happens, and I just like lost my liking for it. But I'm gonna see if I can continue this and if I'm gonna wind up liking it or if I'm gonna wind up DNFing it. I will let you know because I do want to know what happens. But like I said, I don't like when in, you know, a horror or a thriller, they take this really like absurd paranormal occurrence and they use that to explain why something's happening, instead of it just being, you know, someone chose to do that or for some other reason. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I remember reading Riley Sager's The House Across the Lake, and instead of it being like the couple was having problems, you know, the husband really was bad, or something to explain why this woman was like watching them and why they were acting weird, it was just like this weird paranormal twist. So I almost feel like it's like a cop-out in thrillers where they just take paranormal occurrences and explain away the weird things that are happening. But that's just my opinion, so I'm hoping this is gonna get better and not gonna have a really horrible twist. And I'm going to be reading another Grady Hendrix novel. It's going to be How to Sell a Haunted House. I have read My Best Friend's Exorcism by him, and also the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, and I really enjoyed both of those. I have high hopes for this one. I don't know what this is about, so I'm going to read the synopsis. Her parents have died. She dreads going home. She doesn't want to leave her daughter with her ex and fly to Charleston. She doesn't want to deal with her family home, stuffed to the rafters with the remnants of her father's academic career and her mother's lifelong obsession with puppets and dolls. She doesn't want to learn how to live without the two people who knew and loved her best in the world. Most of all, she doesn't want to deal with her brother Mark, who never left their hometown, gets fired from one job after another, and resents her success. Unfortunately, she'll need his help to get the house ready for sale because it'll take more than some new paint on the walls and clearing out a lifetime of memories to get this place on the market. But some houses don't want to be sold, and the lease in Mark's home has other plans for both. So I'm very excited. So it's obviously going to be a haunted house, and they're going to be trying to sell this haunted house. So I'm very excited. I really like Grady Hendrix's writing. I feel like he writes very atmospherically, and whatever vibe he sets, he meets, and I really like that he follows through with that. So I'm really hoping this is going to be basically like Amityville Horror, kind of. That could just be me wanting for it to be like that, so we'll see. Then I will be reading a Riley Sager novel as well. This will be only my second read by him, and like I said, I read The House Across the Lake and I didn't like it because it had a weird paranormal twist, and I really hope this one doesn't, because I feel like this one could be so good. It has so much potential, and that is The Only One Left. It's about this woman, Lenora, that was said to have killed like her entire family, and she's the only one that survived. And so now this home health aide, Kit, is coming in because this woman's too old to take care of herself, so she's helping her, and Lenora says she wants to tell her like the entire story of what actually happened. So I think it'll be very fast-paced, and it'll be like a story that unravels with time, and I'm really excited for that, because then that keeps like the suspense and the pace going, because then you just want to keep reading, because it'll like drop off a chapter and it'll continue in like 1 or 2 more chapters, the story of her. I feel like that's going to keep the pace rolling really fast. Now we're moving into some of the fantasy that I want to read, and these are basically just ones that I picked that I feel like are going to be atmospheric and that are going to match the fall vibes. So basically ones that are cozy and just remind me of fall. The first one I'm really excited about because my husband loves this author and I've heard only good things about him, and that is The Color of Magic, which is a Discworld novel, and it is the first one in the Wizards series. I'm really excited. I want to read most of the Discworld novels. There's so many. There's over 40, but I'm really interested in the Wizards series, and there's also a little series with witches, so I'm interested in both of those. But this is the one that I'll be starting. These are also on Kindle Unlimited, so I'm excited. Next, we have one that I've been seeing everybody reading, and one that my husband's been begging me to read, and that is Red Rising. This one before, and my husband has read, he's on audiobook in the car, so I've heard like bits and pieces of them, and I know like the premise. So it's basically about Darrow, and he's a red, and they're kind of like the slaves of this world, and everything on the outside is kept hidden from them, and they're just meant to work and have families and die. That's basically their premise. But his wife wants to start a rebellion, and she does something that gets her killed. That's no spoiler because it's on the back. And he goes on this transformative journey where he infiltrates the Golds and basically starts an entire revolution. Very excited. This is gonna be my first like sci-fi space opera, and I'm really excited to get into this series because it is, I think, a trilogy, and then there's another trilogy or quartet to follow. Then you guys will be so excited about this one. I'm finally embarking on my Harry Potter read-through. I've never read Harry Potter, and yes, that's surprising because I have so much merch. I have gone to the Harry Potter store in New York City. I have gone to an outdoor exhibition forest walkthrough of Harry Potter. I love Harry Potter. So let me explain this background. I grew up watching all the Harry Potter movies with my family. I have seen them multiple times through, every single one of them. At this point, I can probably recite word for word The Sorcerer's Stone and also Goblet of Fire. I have those two memorized. Goblet of Fire is my favorite Harry Potter movie, and then during COVID, I discovered fandoms basically. I went through this like deep dive of Harry Potter TikTok, Draco TikTok, just everything Harry Potter. And so I started collecting like the mystery wands and just getting all of these Harry Potter trinkets. So then I started buying the books, and you know, I've always planned to read them, but I've never like fully committed. So now that I have a booktube, I figured I could make a reading vlog for you guys. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm probably going to be breaking it down. I'm probably going to be doing 2 to 3 books per video. So there'll probably be 3 or 4 parts to the Harry Potter reading vlog series. I'm thinking I can either watch the movie after each one or watch the movies after each chunk that I break it up into, but I'm really excited to read these. As you can see, I've already read like a bunch of this one, but I want to start it over and highlight. But I already know that I love this writing style and that they are as popular as they are for a reason, even though who shall not be named, the author, is a horrible, horrible person. But with this fandom and series, I try to separate the art from the artist because it's just such a magical, special world to me that I've been enjoying since I was very little. I will be doing my first read-through of Harry Potter, and I hope you guys will join me along the way. I'm so stoked, and I can't wait to embark on this journey. I feel like my 10-year-old self is going to be so happy with myself. Then another one that I've been saying that I'm going to read for forever, and that I got pretty far through and gave up because I'm a mood reader, and it was starting off slow, is Mistborn by the Brandon Sanderson. Now, I read the first, lot of this, I think almost 200 pages, and I was obsessed. I was making Pinterest boards, I was printing out stickers to cut out for my Kindle. I think like new releases just got in the way and I wanted to get to other stuff. And this was slow because it's an introduction book basically. And with Brandon Sanderson books, like the first probably I'd say like 30 to 40% of his books are like all set up in intro world building. So there's gonna be slower. So I had a hard time getting through that, but I know this is gonna be one of my favorite series of all time just because it's so in-depth and good. And I love the magic system in this, and then the main characters are also amazing, and the character arcs that they're already going through are phenomenal. So I already know I'm gonna love this. I plan on vlogging reading this series as well. And moving on to another kind of fantastical fantasy that I'm so excited to start, by an author that I haven't read yet, but I'm so excited to read because I want to get through all of the books that she's written. That is Stephanie Garber's Caraval. I'm so excited because I want to read the Caraval series because I've heard it's amazing, but I really want to get to her Once Upon a Broken Heart series. And they get invited to Caraval, and it says, "Welcome, welcome to Caraval, beware of getting swept too far away." So I know that there's like a game that goes on, and her sister gets kidnapped, and she has to find her. So I think that's like the game. And then I don't know what the rest of the trilogy leads on to. I just know about this first book, and I'm so excited to read this one. I think this is just gonna be the perfect amount of magic for like the fall season. And I feel like it's like quirky, quaint magic, so I'm very excited for that. And I always love when it's like circusy kind of magic, and I think that's what this is gonna be. Then the final physical book on my fall TBR is Belladonna. I'm very excited for this one. Not only is it gorgeous, but I've recently heard really good things about it from some people that I watch on booktube. Orphaned as a baby, 19-year-old Signa has been raised by a string of guardians, each more interested in her wealth than her well-being, and each has met an untimely end. Her remaining relatives are the elusive Hawthorns, an eccentric family living at Thorn Grove, an estate both glittering and gloomy. Its patriarch mourns his late wife through wild parties, while his son grapples for control of the family's waning reputation, and his daughter suffers from a mysterious illness. But when their mother's restless spirit appears claiming she was poisoned, Signa realizes that the family she depends on could be in grave danger and enlists the help of a surly stable boy to hunt down the killer. However, Signa's best chance of uncovering the murder is an alliance with Death himself, a fascinating, dangerous shadow who has never been far from her side. Though he's made her life a living hell, Death shows Signa that their growing connection may be more powerful and more irresistible than she ever dared imagine. I love when books personify death, because because I think it's so interesting how authors describe and depict death, and I think it's so interesting that everyone has a different view and different vision of death basically. So I'm very excited for that, and it's basically a dark mystery slash murder mystery slash gothic romance, and I love anything gothic, and it's definitely set in like a gothic mansion, and I already know I'm gonna be obsessed. Oh, speaking of gothic mansions, another of my favorite Halloween movies is The Haunted Mansion. I feel like that's what it's gonna give. And I also, like I said, love like witchy rom-coms, as you can see with the X-Hex. So I went on and tried to find some spooky witchy rom-coms on Kindle Unlimited, and I wanted to share those with you guys because I spent a long time searching for them because I wanted some recommendations, and I was like, hey, why don't I do the research so I can give you guys some recommendations. I'm going to be popping up the cover on the screen, so don't worry. So the first one is Spookily Yours by Jennifer Chipman, and this one, I think it's about, she goes and adopts a cat and it winds up being a boy, and then she winds up falling in love with him, which is so cute. But the cover is adorable, and I'm really excited for it to be like just a spooky Halloween romance. Now, I don't know the synopses of these. I basically just picked them because they looked adorable and the title and the cover was cute, so don't judge me. Another one that sounded really good was A Ghost of a Chance. It says, even her crystal ball couldn't see love coming. And the cover is just adorable with that one. And that one is by Brittany Kelly. And another one that looked adorable is Pumpkin Spice and Not So Nice. That is by Becky Monson. I technically picked this one because the main character's name is Jenna, and I don't get that in books a lot, so I'm gonna take it where I can. The woman that wrote Spookily Yours is coming out with a second book, and that is coming out Friday, September 13th on Kindle Unlimited, and that is called Wickedly Yours. And that one looks adorable, and it's basically an interconnected series, so it's The Witches of Pleasant Grove. That's gonna be book 2, and I think she winds up with the Crown Prince of the Demon Realm, so that already sounds so good. And then another one is A Hex Appeal by Kate Johnson. It says a laugh out loud, opposites attract, magical witchy rom-com, and I just love all of them. And another is Happily Haunted Afters. That one's by Brittany Kelly, and that is book 1 of 2 of the Happily Haunted Afters series. So that is the first one to A Ghost of a Chance, and I think this one is a second chance romance. So that's exciting. So this one is the first one to A Ghost of a Chance. A Ghost of a Chance is the second one in their little interconnected series. And those are all the books that I plan to choose from with my mood reading brain over September and October. I can't wait to vlog these for you guys and share my opinions, because I think I'm going to be vlogging a lot this fall because I love to just get cozy, and I love when it's nice and chilly out and I can curl up in a sweater with a blanket and film some fun videos for you guys. I'm really excited to read all of these. All of them I've had for a little bit, and they all pique my interest so much, and I think they're all going to match my cozy fall cottagecore vibes, and I'm going to be living out my fall dreams this fall. So I'm going to be ending the video here. I want to thank you guys for watching, and if you made it to this point in the video, please leave a cute little pumpkin emoji. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. I want to thank you guys for all your support, and as always, thank you for watching and happy reading. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!